There are a lot of things that come to mind when I think about Rick Sanchez. I think nihilist, alcoholic, and a downright terrible father. But if you're an avid viewer of Rick and Morty, something else may have come to mind, and that's Rick's claim to divinity. Rick takes every opportunity he can to assert his dominance, and one of the ways he does this is with his constant claim to godhood. I thought we'd take a minute to peel back the layers and examine what actually makes Rick a god.
Think anyone but me could do that ever in a billion years? Do you think if God existed, he could do it? The answer is no. If God exists, it's fucking me.
Yes, Rick. I agree, Rick.
When we talk about a deity, there are a lot of characteristics that we usually associate with that. But with Rick, I think it comes down to two main things: his omniscience and omnipotence, knowledge and power. Let's start off with omniscience. Omniscience is described as the state of possessing knowledge about everything. Although it cannot be said that Rick Sanchez knows everything, the show makes it seem like he does. He's often referred to as the smartest man in the universe, and for good reason. In every situation that Rick is faced with, he seems to know exactly what course of action to take. But even beyond that, he's always 2 to 3 steps ahead of everyone else in the show. Take for example season 1 episode 4, when the Zygerians tried to manipulate Rick into giving up the formula for concentrated dark matter by placing him in a simulation inside a simulation. At first, it seemed as though Rick had been fooled into giving up the secret to one of his most precious inventions. But when the Zygerians put the formula together, the result was catastrophic. Rick was 2 steps ahead. He does something very similar in season 4 episode 3, where he outplays the infamous heist artist Miles Knightley with one switcheroo and a double cross. The result was hijacking Knightley's heist and using it to steal the skull of Horowitz before Knightley even realized what the hell was going on.
So, I'm in your crew now.
Yeah, well, you're in good company. Right, everybody?
Yes. My God.
Majority of the time when you watch a movie, you're watching the main protagonist encounter the unknown. But in Rick and Morty, this dynamic flips. The universe is the explored terrain and Rick Sanchez is the unknown. We never know for sure what he's capable of, what he's going to do, or what he's up to. We never know for certain that we're even talking to the real Rick at any point. For all we know, he could be
A clone. I could be a hologram. We could be clones controlled by robots controlled with special headsets that the real Rick and Morty are wearing while they're
It's this mystery that makes Rick such a fascinating character to watch. The universe throws stuff at him, and he handles all of it with such ease, giving us the alert that he has a comprehensive understanding of the universe and how it operates. When it comes to the matter of Rick's powers, he describes it as being able to do whatever he wants whenever he wants to do it, which is no small thing. By virtue of his intellect alone, Sanchez has been able to ascend his reality to become one of the most powerful beings in his universe. Unlike other characters whose claim to godhood stem from raw power that they innately possess or has been granted to them, Rick's power primarily comes from the ideas in his mind and his ability to put those ideas to work. And we see this most clearly with his inventions. Rick has a long list of inventions, some of which include a helmet that grants intelligence, a device that incepts people's dreams, to the aforementioned concentrated dark matter, the fuel that allows him to travel space faster than anyone else, and of course his most well-known work, interdimensional travel, made possible via his portal gun, which he always carries on his person. Some of Rick's inventions have the tendency to develop a consciousness of their own, which we've seen with characters like Abraham Linkler,
I have no quarrel with you, boy.
the Bottle Robot,
What is my purpose?
AI Morty, and let's not forget his car batteries, which is powered by a universe filled with sentient life. The third category of Rick's work involves cybernetic changes to his biology. These inventions give him a physical advantage in hand-to-hand combat situations, or at least puts him on the same level as some of his opponents. But one of the more interesting devices in this category is the one that grants him some kind of semi-immortality. The device literally shifts his consciousness to cloned versions of himself whenever his body gets eliminated. The device alone makes Rick a very difficult opponent to kill, and when you put this together with all his other inventions, you could definitely make a case for Sanchez's omnipotence. However, from the revelations of Season 5's finale, it's clear that Rick's godhood, despite seeming legitimate on the surface, is completely fabricated. Rick literally built a wall around infinity to separate all the universes where he's the dominant figure in existence from all the ones he's not. He calls this the central finite curve. In doing so, he's ensured that all interdimensional travel that occurs within the curve stays within it. For all we know, the unexplored universes outside the curve may contain species far more formidable than Rick, some of which he may not know about or perhaps is too afraid to confront. His claims to godhood may merely be that of a powerless man trying to take control of a universe that takes whatever it wants. It took his family. Perhaps this is his way of coping, of dealing with his loss and pain.
Outside his occasional drug use and excessive alcohol consumption, I think control is how Rick deals with not only the loss of Diane, but it's also how he fights back against the absurd and chaotic nature of his reality. If he's not building hidden rooms in strange places, he's stealing dead crystals from Fabodulin Prime or making infinite decoys of his family, and that list goes on and on. Rick is always trying to acquire a new resource or technology in order to gain some sort of advantage over the universe. I guess there's a part of him that never wants to be caught off guard like he was all those years ago. So is Rick Sanchez a god? Perhaps not in the full sense of the word, or in the various subjective definitions of the term. He may not even be one when we consider the entire multiverse, but given the amount of knowledge and power that he possesses over the universe, I guess it's safe to say that Rick is the closest thing to a god within the central finite curve.
Wubba-lubba-dub-dubs! Yeah! That's my new thing. I'm kind of like, what's his name? Arsenio. Isn't it?